Now, recently a friend of mine was in London and didn't know which tube ticket to buy, or whatever it is that you use to travel on the buses and tubes in London. If you're from the UK, you can just use your contactless credit card, about which more later. But if you're from abroad and you've just arrived and you don't know where you live, what your name is, where you're going, you probably don't want to pay all those foreign bank fees on your transactions. So it's probably easier to get an Oyster card. Now, don't be that person who hangs around for ages and gets in everybody's way. First thing you want to do is come over here and hit Get New Card. You can decide here how many cards you want, but there's only one of me, so I want one new Oyster card. Hit Confirm. You then have to decide how much money you want to put onto your Oyster card.
It's pay as you go, so it depends on how many journeys you do per day, and then you'll cap it as a day travel card.
Now, a lot of people panic when they first arrive in London at Heathrow, for example, and they say, look, do I buy a weekly pass or do I buy a pay-as-you-go top-up pass? So I think the best thing to do is when you arrive, just stick £15 credit onto an Oyster card, and then that buys you some time to decide what kind of journeys you're going to be making after that.
So start with £15. The Oyster card is a £5 deposit, which you pay. And then the pay-as-you-go credit which you have is £15, so altogether with £20.
Now don't worry, you'll get your deposit back when you return your card, plus any unused credit as long as it's under £10.
And voila, my nice fresh Oyster card, ready for use. Now the left side of the escalator is for people who are much busier than you. So as far as Londoners are concerned, if you're standing on the wrong side, you basically have no human rights and you will be ploughed out of the way by people like me. Excuse me, can you get out of the bloody way, please? You're on the wrong side of the escalator. So did you honestly not notice that everyone was...
All right. It's pretty obvious, isn't it? I didn't see the signs.
Sorry. On no account must you speak to anybody. Make sure that you keep your headphones in.
The next station is Angel.
You're not allowed to speak to me. We're in London. Oh, you're not a Londoner?
No,
oh.
That's why we're talking to you properly.
Oh, right. I keep meeting Northerners. What's going on? They actually speak to you on the tube. Oh, you really are amateur. You haven't even got your headphones in.
No paper.
No, you're
Biggest chat holder.
Amateur. Excuse me, I'm going to stare at my phone now.
That's right, you carry on.
So if you're in a real hurry, you can just swipe your credit card or your debit card, as long as it's got this contactless symbol on it. Now that will work in exactly the same way as the pay-as-you-go credit on an Oyster card. But you don't have to top this up at the machine or anything, you just take it and you just scan it straight onto the machine. And don't be one of those people who gets in the way and stands in front of the ticket gate. Sorry. Now remember, you can't use cash on the bus, so you've got to use your card. The thing about the Oyster card is that you can use it again and again and again. I mean, if you use it, say, 50 times in one day, it won't go above a certain amount, so you can just continue using it all day long. They call it capping. I think it's about sort of £6 or £7 or something. Particularly like the number 15 bus because you can get one of these old routemasters and they're really good. They follow a route all the way from Trafalgar Square past the Royal Courts of Justice, the Monument, Sweeney Todd's barbershop, and it finishes up by the Tower of London. There's so much more space on these as well. It just feels so much more comfortable, and you can even open the window here. Look at that. I hate those horrible new ones. This seat over here in the corner is my friend used to call it the molester's seat. Weirdos and pervs used to sit in this one. I rather like it. You can sit at the back of the bus and just sort of observe everybody who gets on from over here.
So last stop, please.
Thank you.
Last stop.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
See ya.
Stay here.
Thank you, and you. You can even use it on the boat, but it does cost a little bit more.
Maybe it's because I'm a Londoner that I think of her wherever I go.
But you really have to remember to swipe out. It's very important, otherwise you get charged extra. Sometimes the gates are already open, and a lot of people think, I know, I won't get charged if I just walk straight through. But that's not the case. You'll get charged £8.
Some stations don't even have ticket gates.
So make absolutely sure that you do swipe in and out properly, otherwise you can get absolutely skinned on the fare. Be careful. You can even use it on the Emirates Airline. Excellent. It costs £3.40 for an adult and £1.70 for a child if you have an Oyster card.
They fly so high, nearly reach the sky.
In many ways, there's no need to pay for one of those expensive guided tour buses. With so many Jules guides online, you can just access them on your phone, and with an Oyster card, you can get around London for a reasonable price. So if you enjoy my films, do please subscribe to the channel, and bon voyage.